Hi, friends, and welcome to another episode of Imperfect Recall. I am your co-host, Mike Eshelman.
And I'm your co-host, Tom Arnholt.
And Studio E went remote, so we could have our very special guest, Anne Maglicic, in. So say hi to everybody, Anne.
Hello, everybody.
Ooh, you have
Nice.
a very good radio voice.
It's the teacher in me.
Is that it?
It's all about the voice and diction.
I'm going to slouch just so you can tell me to sit up straight, because I think I have a thing for that.
Sit up straight.
Oh, and the snap.
I'm gonna
am
start
not
chewing
playing.
gum.
Ooh, gum.
So we were...
Ooh, gum.
So we were talking a little bit before we went on, and Tom and Ann actually went to school together from first grade all the way through high school.
Sister Callista. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a really good Tom Arnholt memory. Every time the teacher would leave the room, his best friend was Paul Sarastadata, and Tom was always tall. He was always the tallest kid in the class. And Paul Sarastadata was always the shortest kid. But you guys were very into war games, so every time the teacher would leave, they would act like they were throwing bombs and shooting at each other and roll around on the floor. And then they could always strategically plan it where they'd be back in their seat as soon as the teacher got back in. And I'd be like, wow, they're playing their war games again.
That's amazing.
Oh my God, I forgot about that. We diving around and rolling. Holy
But
crap!
you never
Yeah.
got caught. Never.
No.
And then, like, I would open my mouth and say something, and the teacher would come back in and be like, Ann, go in the
Right?
hallway. And I'd be like, what the hell?
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So these
You
idiots
couldn't
got away
win,
with
man.
murder.
I
You
know.
always got they always just had an eye on you. Like
I
just
know.
wait.
What was that?
And it seemed like
I
every
was
year.
in trouble before I
Yeah.
even did anything.
Yeah.
So why is that? Did you
I don't
weren't?
know.
I don't remember you as like an instigator of trouble or anything.
Just followed me around. It took me, I think, until I was about 50. No, maybe like 45 to not like have shit catch up to me.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what that was.
I'll be damned.
Damn. Because I think some of my memories of you, Anne, is like I remember. Yeah, like you just were always in trouble.
I know.
Not like in trouble, but like you're always like Anne, Miss Maglicic, Anne, and you're like I'm not doing anything. And I loved like the cool thing about you was like you would never like back down.
Right.
Well,
Like they would call you out, and you would be like, and you would call bullshit.
Yep.
like, oh my God, this girl is crazy. She's talking back to teachers.
I remember that from high school too. In the few classes we had together, you put up with nobody's shit.
really?
Yeah.
If you disagreed, and I think the class we had together was history. I want to say Mr. Crisp,
Oh, yeah, Mr.
which not the greatest authority figure ever chiseled out of stone by any means. But if you didn't like what he said, you were right back and said, "No, we're doing A, B, and C."
Really?
Oh
I
yeah.
don't remember that. Maybe it's just bossiness. Okay, I have something funny to play. Can I put this up on my phone? Hold on.
We'll try it. I have no idea.
This is a Tom Arnholt memory. Okay, I'm going
Oh,
to
God.
try this.
Mom,
Yes, honey.
why are you dusting the pledge?
Well, honey, I always dust with Pledge.
Why?
Because when I spray Pledge on my cloth, it picks up lots of dust.
Uh-huh.
But when I don't,
So I remember in 8th grade sitting in class, and you kept saying that commercial in class.
Really?
Mom, why are you dusting with Pledge?
Random. What the hell was I thinking?
I don't know. But
That
it came to
is
me today.
awesome.
I was on a walk. I was walking the dogs, and I was like, Tom
my God.
Arnholt. And I was like 8th grade, sitting in those plastic chairs at St. Andrews. Mom,
Yeah.
why are you dusty with Pledge? You kept doing it one day. And I was like, shut up.
That is
No
amazing.
idea. No memory of that whatsoever.
Do you remember the commercial, though?
No.
Yeah.
Wow. That
Damn.
is, you have really good memory.
Yeah.
I can't remember anything
Right on.
from 8th grade.
Really?
I think I blocked it out. Something terrible must have happened.
Sometimes you just have times in your life you remember more stuff than other times.
It could be. Or I drank it
Yeah.
out. That might be
That
too.
might be it, too.
Yeah.
Right.
And I just remember, Ash, in high school, you were just always like turned around laughing. like, something would go on crazy, of course, over where I was, and you would be like turned around laughing.
Well, you were hilarious.
Well, who knows?
I think, and again, it's that same history class. I think it was you and me and Michelle Ketty.
Well, Caddy was supposed to be here tonight. Her and I would feed off each other.
Oh yeah, but she called off sick. So,
Yeah, she's lame.
or I'm going to throw my bullshit flag and say nobody's sick on Saturdays.
I know.
She just didn't want to hang out
Right.
with us.
Right? You hear this, Caddy? You hear it? Lame.
Lame. But there was always something stupid happening in that corner.
I know.
Just random idiocy. And it was beautiful.
Well, and I remember one time in high school in study hall, like, why would I do this? I had a lighter and hairspray in my purse. I was sitting in study hall and I just went, shit, a huge flame shot up and everybody screamed. And the study hall advisor was like, what? What's happening? And I just, nothing, like, it like vanished. But like, why did we do shit like that?
So let's go back about 8 minutes when we couldn't figure out why you were always in trouble. Mystery solved.
But I do have a question. Were you two first of your family? Like, were you the first siblings?
Yes,
Tom, you're
our
the oldest in your family.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know the oldest have a huge disadvantage because you're paving the way.
Oh, yeah,
When you're
absolutely.
the youngest in the family, and I was the youngest of 4, you watch your brothers and sisters and you learn all the tricks of the trade.
Right.
You guys
And
are
your parents are just tired
Yep.
at that point.
Exactly.
Yep.
But you guys had to, like, pave the way for your.
So did you have a lot of pressure on you from your parents to like get good grades?
No. In our family, there's 4 siblings. There's my 2 older sisters who are like, perfect. They were perfect. And then there's my brother and I. It was like a dividing line. My parents said they thought they were perfect parents until Matt and I came along.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Tom, I wish I was listening to the first podcast you guys did. And I'm sad we went all through elementary school and we didn't, like, I never got to know your family. We
Well,
read,
there's kind of a reason for that.
You came out of the deal okay, I'd say. Andy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There wasn't a whole lot to know. There's not a whole lot. I mean, not to completely slam my family. It was interesting. And I think I was not necessarily representative of my upbringing. Is that a polite way of saying
Yeah.
that?
That's a
That
very
is.
polite way to say
well,
it.
and the
yes.
other thing too is you didn't play sports. And
No.
our family was real involved in the sports scene at St. Andrews.
Yeah.
But it was funny. You're best friends with Paul. Do you still talk to Paul?
Nope. I've
Yeah.
not seen Paul in forever.
But
Sadly.
I knew his family pretty well.
Really?
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
remember going over to his house for projects, and his mom was kind of more involved. She would come in for cafeteria duty and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that's kind of sad. We didn't really whatever. Yeah,
It's funny. You mentioned Paul and his family. I sort of adopted them. A lot of what I did through grade school was by happenstance. It just, a lot of the friends that I had that were close friends also had families that I
we're really stable.
were, yeah.
Yeah,
And
because the Surestadata
didn't
family,
quite
you wanted to
have
go
that,
over there and
so-
stay.
Yeah.
Like Miss
Like a-
Surestadata was just a sweetheart,
Oh my God.
wasn't
yeah.
she?
She was awesome. And Dr. Stressada was just always cool, always there, always available. Just, for whatever you needed. Just a really fantastic family.
So maybe that's
yeah.
why you turned out okay.
I think so, honestly.
Seriously, yeah.
It's
That's
the nature
usually-
versus nurture thing.
Right. I was fortunate enough to have the wherewithal to select good friends and good families to kind of copy and mimic and learn off of.
Yeah, excellent point. So, Anne, one of the focuses that we look at during these is the public persona that you portrayed when you were younger versus the actual you. Do you see a dissonance between those two people when you were in your teenage years?
I don't think so.
You were just an asshole all the way to the core, right?
Just full on bitch beast mode.
I didn't know I was a bitch.
No.
No.
You weren't. No. I don't mean that in a bad way.
Yeah, no, I know. I don't know. I think everybody had their insecurities,
Right.
of course, but I think I just, I was trying to think how I would respond to that because I really don't know. I think I just got up every day and just did high school.
Well, and you brought up a good point, too. How close in age were you with your older siblings?
There's 4 of us in 4 years.
Okay, so
Less than 4
you
years.
had sort of a built-in defense because you had those older kids in your family, too. You were never, like, quote-unquote, alone.
Right.
Having to pave your own way. You always had somebody there. You knew somebody had your back no matter what happened.
Right, because you guys, I have mad respect for the first child. I think the first child going through, I think it's a lot harder than,
Yeah.
That's
That's an interesting point. Huh,
Yeah,
okay.
I thought about it.
The other thing, too, is I think it just came naturally to me to just treat everybody kind of the same. Mm-hmm. I never understood, like you guys were talking about how there's a little bit of bullying or people being kind of assholes to you. I can't even relate to that. It never happened to me. I never did it to anybody. I never really saw too much of that. What were things that happened to you guys? Like what was hard?
Well, Tom,
See, for me, I never was really bullied, and then I never really saw it that I can recall.
Was it more of a feeling?
No, I mean, got called names. And again, a lot of it was from gym class. Where when you're a freshman,
Like you were on the
half
wall
your
at kickball.
class was sophomores. And I was tiny. I was like 80 pounds.
That's hard to be a guy.
A little sack of bones when I was 14. So, and I had all these older kids. And I swear to God, I don't know how, but they were all Italian. And they were fucking covered in fur. and here's me, like this little dried up peach rolling into gym class. So a lot of name calling and just being picked on and shit like that.
That's bullshit.
And again, you go from when you're in 8th grade, you're kind of like, and St. Andrews was the same as Our Lady Peace. You had 8 years together in one building. We were the big dogs. And then I get to Watterson, again, this 14-year-old, tiny, scared to death. And there's kids with 5 o'clock shadows that are like a foot taller than me. I'm like, what in the fuck is going on here?
Who was your best friend at Our Lady of Peace?
Egelhoff.
Oh, yeah, he's great. He's another one. I just remember in class and turned around laughing. Stupid shit that would go on in class. But one time he was in class and he went to get his book and he fell over in his desk and got stuck in his desk.
Like a turtle flipped over.
I had to help him pick his desk up. Smooth.
What I remember about you in particular was you were very inquisitive about everybody around you. You were always not like, hey man, how was your weekend? But you would dig in and say, oh, that's interesting. You collect model trains. Why do you do that? How did you get into that? Did your dad do that? Do you have a special room? You kept digging and digging and digging, like looking for all the information possible. And I always thought that was really cool because you were very broad. You would ask anybody anything just to, I don't know, like a squirrel gathering nuts of information. You would just like, you burrow away.
Man, this is interesting. I didn't know I did that.
Yeah, you're super inquisitive. Shit, every time I go out to a bar with you, you're like, what have you been up to? And then you'll ask me 10 questions about whatever I bring up. I'm like,
Sounds annoying.
I'm going to start saying nothing.
No, that's awesome because it's like, as somebody being asked the question, it's like, wow, okay, you're really engaged and you like actually give a shit about what I'm saying.
Yep.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes,
That's cool.
and you're one of those few people too that when you talk to you, you don't automatically like just shut down like, oh, their mouth is still moving. I'll wait until it stops so I can start talking too. You actually like listen. And can regurgitate the information back too.
Wow. I'm learning stuff about myself here. Okay, so the other thing I was thinking about different groups like at Watterson, right?
Yeah.
Now you were not in the band group, but I remember being distinctly aware of the bandies. And Tom, you were a bandy. And all I
I was a
remember at the
bandy.
bandies, like you'd come to school and you'd be wearing like a cape and you'd be making funny noises. And I'd be like, oh yeah, there's the bandies. But I didn't feel any angst. It was just that you guys were the bandies. But I will have to say, I absolutely adored how close you guys were. You guys were tight and you guys were like loyal to each other. Your friendships and your relationships seemed so much deeper than some of the relationships I had in high school.
Okay. Interesting.
I mean, you guys like were really tight. You guys had
Yeah.
each other's backs. Not that I didn't have friends, but I think I was so busy flitting around. It took me till later on, maybe to be in college, be on a team, to develop really true friendships.
Right.
It was like I had friendships when I was younger. Betsy Rothermick and Beth Brizzer were my best friends at St. Andrews.
Yep.
And then I kind of went through the stage where I decided, oh, I'm going to go out and, party and go. And I think that's a lot of high school. Not that I didn't have friendships, but it took me till later on in life, I think, to get good friends. And I always admired that about you guys.
Wow. Thanks.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Never thought about it.
You guys were just, I don't know. It was
and
neat. The relationship.
I've brought that up before, that these guys like saved me. I was scared out of my mind the first 2 years of high school. And then when I started hanging around with like Tom and Casey and all of those guys, I felt like I had found my tribe.
Mm-hmm.
And then I could
And you
just
guys stuck
be
together.
myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So it was
Yeah.
safety, and it was that feeling of comfort where like I can say whatever I want and not be judged, or at least not be judged a half hour from now.
Not judge behind your back.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we all did that.
Right?
We still do that. You guys will
You'd
leave
get a
here and I'll be like,
rapturous shit.
whatever. Oh my god.
Oh,
Did you
yeah.
see that? No, I'm just kidding.
Like, that's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard.
Dumb. Oh man.
Yeah. You're banned from talking now.
Right. That's a 30-minute timeout.
Yeah. Exactly.
No, I don't know. That never occurred to me at the time that we were any different from any other group. I don't think.
That's true.
Oh no, the bandies were different. The bandies definitely were. You guys were always having fun. You always had your own parties.
Yeah.
You guys
Really?
yeah, seriously. The bandies had
Yeah.
it going on.
Shit. I should have
It
learned
was-
to play an instrument.
I know.
It
Well,
was
you were in
fun.
jazz band with Swanson and Jeremy Rogers.
Yeah.
And
I
Nikki
wasn't.
Harrison. No, Ash was.
No, I wasn't.
Damn it.
I wasn't in anything.
Somebody told me that today. It was Andy Harrison. He
Andy
had it
Harrison
wrong.
thought I was in jazz band with him.
Yeah. Well, maybe I have that wrong.
I think,
Maybe he
were you a
didn't say-
roadie?
Yeah, that's exactly it. I was Andy's guitar tech
No,
for
but
jazz
Andy did
band.
say, he goes, I was in AP classes with Ash all the way through, AP English with Rachel Thomas. And
Yep.
I was like, yeah, I wasn't in those either.
Yeah, I know.
Yep, it's true. But no, I always worked. So I would leave school at whatever 2:48, go over and chain smoke with these idiots at like on the other side of the parking lot at Bombs for a few minutes, and then I went to work.
Yeah.
So I couldn't participate in anything.
I always worked too. You guys know I paid for my own college?
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Right on. No.
Yeah. I did go on
That's
scholarship for field hockey, but I paid for my own college.
That's
All
impressive.
of the Maglicics
Right
did.
on.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right on. That's awesome.
I think I was the only kid in Arlington that did.
I don't doubt that.
Probably the only kid in Arlington ever.
My parents gave us the school of hard knocks.
That's
We all
builds
came
character.
out better for it. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. So, looking back in those years when you were like 16, 17, 18, do you feel like the things you learned then outside of class helped you make that transition into adulthood, or did you go tripping and falling into your 20s?
Oh, I went tripping and falling into my 20s. I think I did all right in college, and I think it all came to a head when I started working in Columbus City schools. So I went through, Catholic school, growing up in Upper Arlington, and then you guys know I didn't finish at Watterson. I got kicked out
Right.
of Watterson and
What's
had to go
this
to
now?
Arlington. Yeah, you knew that.
I know, I'm
That was
fucking
like
with you.
every time for years. It was like, oh my gosh, when is this going to die? Now I wear it like a proud badge. Yes.
Right?
Yeah. The famous finger in the field hockey picture. It's a good story now. But yeah, I didn't get to have senior year with you. That's when I left Watterson, and you guys, a lot of people formed, friendships, and you guys were able to have it come full circle.
It's that
Senior
DC
year,
trip, too, that
I
really
know.
solidifies stuff for people.
Yeah, so I always was surprised, like, oh, I didn't know they ended up being cool or
Right.
whatever. You guys got to see it all the way through. I never did. And I did okay at Arlington. It's, I'm a better person for it. I know more people, but I went through college, and college is a pretty sheltered atmosphere as well. I played field hockey in college, was really tight with the girls on my team. But 22 years old, I leave college, and I start teaching in Columbus City schools, and I was in the Linden area.
Okay.
And let me tell you,
Yeah.
my Upper Arlington / Bishop Watterson existence did not really properly prepare me for that hard. That was hard.
Right?
And this is actually a good story. My first year of teaching, it was Christmas time. And I had a real rough group of kids. And finally, one day, I just started crying. And one of the girls goes, look, y'all, when she cries, one eye opens up bigger than the other. And something happened to me where I was like, I will never cry in front of a group of
my
kids
God.
again. But those kids that grow up in those environments, they learn to be tough.
Right?
And
Yeah.
I feel like I was pretty sheltered from stuff until I got into Columbus City. And man, Columbus City Schools has kicked my ass through the years. It got me tough though.
Right?
Right?
So no, I went kicking and stumbling.
Okay.
A lot of naivety, leaving, our little bubble and going out in the world. It's
Right.
a huge learning curve.
My brother left Watterson between sophomore and junior year, and he went to Whetstone junior and senior year. And he said the weirdest thing when he started going there was when you're in the middle of class to see kids walking up and down the hall. He's like, you never saw that at Watterson. Everybody was in their class and stayed there. I'm like, yeah, that would distract the shit out of me just because, you see shit out of the corner of your eye. I would have gone nuts.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, but we also got a great education there.
Yeah. I mean, when people ask now, I tell them I went to Catholic schools. I show them my numbers on my arm. And they're like, are you thankful for it? I'm like, I'll tell you what, I am not late to anything ever. And
Oh, yeah, the rules.
I still do not chew gum to this day.
I know, that's why I was like, ooh, gum. Gum.
I mean, not only I don't know why they focused on that as
I
the
know.
capital crime, but while I was at Watterson, I worked there in the summers to help pay for my tuition, and I'd say half our day was spent with a paint scraper, and every desk in the building flipped over, and
Okay,
we'd sit there and scrape gum.
I have a funny story about that.
I bet half of it was yours, right? Is that
No, I
hilarious?
tried out for that program. They actually had a day where you had to go
Yeah, we had tryouts.
and I didn't make it.
You got cut?
I had to work for like an 8-hour day at Watterson. I think it was prior to some wedding or something they were having there. But they made us work, and then I didn't make it
Oh, that's we were setting up chairs in the gym.
for some event.
Yeah, and Mr. Shea grabbed me and Mike Durant to pick up like the big chairs that went, I don't know, the altar or whatever it was for this. They were these giant chairs. And so,
It's you and Durant. Like, hey, David, Goliath, go.
yeah, exactly. Like I just went down the hallway and like left, a little to the right. So he grabs us and we schlepped these giant things up, and then everybody was gone. So I asked Mr. Shea, I'm like, Ron, now what do I do? He's like, you're fine. He's like, the chair was your test. Don't worry about it. I'm like, oh, okay.
I
Shit.
know, I think this test was rigged because everybody in my family got to do this, but then I had to go out and get a job.
That's terrible.
And my sisters used to complain about the gum.
Yeah, oh, it was awful. And then in the cafeteria back then, they used to have bingo.
Oh, yeah.
And you could smoke in the cafeteria. So way up on the ceiling were those air filters, like
Yeah, I
the big air
remember
conditioning
those.
units. So I had to climb up this like 24-foot ladder with a little paint scraper. And I forget who our boss was, Madeki Mellet at the time. He's like, go up there and clean those. I'm like, they don't look that bad. He's like, just go up there. So I'm
Fine.
scared of heights to begin with. So I'm shaking on this ladder, like way up. And I just put the paint scraper against it and push it. And it was like frozen chocolate. All the nicotine that had built up over the years curled. So like from the floor, they look like they're like bronze colored. They're supposed to be silver. So here I am again. We had asbestos in the morning, and in the afternoon, I'm just covered in nicotine falling off of this thing. Yeah, it's all around me on the bottom of the floor of the cafeteria. It was so disgusting. So you didn't miss much. I got pantsed by somebody on my team. I forget who it was. One of the girls. We had to take off all the, the 4-foot bulbs in the classrooms, take them all down, dust them, and put them back up. So I climbed a ladder, grabbed a pair, and somebody came behind me and just went, whoop, and pulled my shorts down.
Traumatizing.
So, yes. So I'm stuck on this ladder. I'm like, what do I do? So I just threw the light bulbs and just let them shatter all over the floor. I'm like, fuck it. That's the floor team. They can fix it. And like crawled into a hole and cried. I think like Skip gave me a pop or something. He felt so bad
Skip.
for me.
I remember Skip the custodian.
Yeah, so you didn't miss out on much. It was terrible.
Yeah, I know. But I still I think this thing was rigged. Like, why did every Maglicic kid make it and then I didn't?
Right.
I came home sort of like, what'd I do? I'm not a good cleaner. What the fuck?
Or maybe they wrecked it. They're like, you know what? We're sick of these kids.
Yeah, we're sick of the Maglicic, so
Yeah,
take
right.
it out on the last one.
Right?
Yeah. Just blame Matt. Just,
Blame it,
he wrecked everything.
Matt, I know. Oh my goodness. That was funny being the younger sister of Matt Maglicic. All his friends. Yeah.
I didn't know him that well. What was he, a troublemaker or just?
I don't know. Do you remember him, Tom?
Vaguely. But sadly, nothing, like no event, nothing really pops out.
Yeah.
It's just.
Well, it was that's the way it was at St. Andrews. You just knew people. You never really got
Yeah.
to know their personalities. You just kind of knew them.
Right.
You just knew them. Yeah, and you were cool whenever really you had to be in the same place at the same time, and then you would go and do other things, but you were still cool. I don't know. Yeah, St. Andrews was like the educational equivalent of that head nod that you give to somebody as you pass in the street. That's
I know.
kind of St. Andrews. So,
That is true. That is true.
that was kind of the St. Andrews relationship for a lot
Yeah,
of
it
people.
was. Like, I have all these guys that I went to elementary school with that I'm not even close with.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me. Who was your first girlfriend?
Michelle Clayman,
Holy shit. You know how to pick them.
right?
No offense, Michelle, if you're listening.
No.
We were campfire girls together.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Who was your first girlfriend, Ash?
Shit. It was in my 20s, probably, or like 19, 20. I didn't date anybody in high school.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So some girl that was a couple years under us, I don't remember her name. If you're listening, it's not you, it's me. I have no memory. But no, nobody.
How about you,
in
Ann? Who was your first?
Matt Callahan,
Matt Callahan.
5th grade.
Wow.
Remember how much he fought in gym class? He was a hothead.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you dug the bad boys?
apparently. Yeah.
Wow.
All right, so one question we always ask when people come on here, if you ever get to the end of one of the episodes, they're a lot of fun. You should try it out. We ask people who they think we should invite on the show to dig in and crack their head open and see what's going on.
From Watterson?
Yeah, we're starting there.
Huh. Interesting question. You know who came to mind? Sherry Farrell. You know why?
Why?
Because I saw her come to the 20-year reunion. Did you guys go to the 20-year reunion?
Where was that one?
No.
Varsity Club. And I saw
Yes.
her walk in,
Yes.
and I was like, hey, Sherry, and then she left.
What?
She left.
Like
She
walked
didn't
in and
stay.
left?
Yeah, and she's always, on Facebook, giving really positive feedback to people, but she hasn't, I don't know. I'd love to know what was going on with her.
I don't think I had a single conversation with her when we were younger.
I think she's a really nice person.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh, no idea. I mean, I could probably pick
She
her
was
out
really
in a lineup.
pretty. She was the girl I think a lot of guys wanted to date. You know, I don't know. I think she'd be interesting.
Okay.
I think she had more to her than what she presented in high school. And maybe why, you know, I always wondered, why'd you leave the reunion? Why didn't
Right.
you stay? I always wondered that.
That's interesting. I
yeah.
remember that. That was when that started, it was like the opening of the Olympics for that year. It was like the Summer Olympics
The one that was at the varsity club?
first night. Yeah. It was like Peggy Burke and I were sitting at the bar. We got there early for some reason. And we were watching the beginning of the Olympics. And then next
Interesting.
thing I know, it's 2:30 in the morning and I can't feel my legs. Cool. Okay. Well, we covered some ground, and you weren't as mysterious as I thought you would be. I thought you would tell us some sort of crazy thing, like
Well,
you
you
were
could-
fighting off psychosis the whole time, and it was all a
No,
front.
but I think I definitely, like, I think boys were a source of insecurity for me in high school. You know? I think I definitely ran with girls that I always thought were a little bit cooler than me.
Okay.
You know? And I think just talking and being outrageous was maybe the way to cover up some of that insecurity with boys. Maybe not thinking you were that pretty or.
I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So just keep shocking them. Keep going.
Yes. Yep.
You did that.
Oh, yeah. I think I did.
I mean, like from day one. I think you know. I think it's like I said before. I think it's you were always just like so cool and like outspoken, and it's still it's funny to me that you became a teacher because like you just always seemed like if I was a teacher that you know that had you in class back in the day, I think at a parent teacher conference, I think like to describe you from a teacher's perspective would be challenging.
Challenging.
Anne is challenging because you were. It's like you took no shit,
Yep.
but you were always like, we're always had like I said, you know, when we started, they always kind of had an eye out for you. Like, but not in a good way. Like they were always waiting for you to fuck up. So
I
they
know.
could get you.
And boy, did they get me.
Right.
Ooh.
And
Yes.
I think you just got to a point where it's like, no, fuck you. You're talking.
Oh my God. That reminds me of like,
Spit out your gum.
yeah.
I don't know. I always just thought you were really cool.
Oh, absolutely.
Just because you seemed so confident and just outspoken. You were never like scared to say what was on your mind.
Yeah.
If you were, it never appeared to be that way.
Yeah, you took shit from nobody.
Do you remember in 8th grade when Father Schultz came into the classroom and I asked, hey, Father, if we're Catholic, how far can you go on a date before it's a sin?
Yes.
In 8th grade?
He actually
Yeah,
stumbled.
we were getting prepped for confirmation.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ.
And Father Schultz was like 110 years old and just angry.
he
Just
said-
an angry old man.
He said, nothing sexually pleasurable. I feel like that's what he said. And I was like, what does that mean?
Right.
Wow, that can be taken so many ways.
Is that a
too.
thought?
Yeah.
Like, is it bad to
Right.
think something? Yeah. Yeah.
Jesus. No wonder
But,
we're so fucked up. We had no decent authority figures to speak of.
Right. But no,
yeah.
it's all funny. Like if you look at high school, you always think these other people have it going on, but really, don't you guys think we were all in the same exact boat?
That's what we're trying to find out
Yeah,
through
we're all
this.
in the same boat. And some people, things come more naturally to people than others, but in high school, especially like the first couple years, a lot of the assholes are the ones that are popular. Not to say that they're not going through stuff, but what makes a person popular at the beginning compared to popular at the end? And name somebody you guys went through high school with that you think stayed popular all throughout. Like I feel like a lot of the people that were considered, maybe popular were kind of asshole-ish freshman, sophomore year. But who was the one that stayed cool all throughout?
Okay.
Eric Susie.
Yeah, someone like
Yeah,
that.
okay, that's fair.
He's a
Fort
good,
Camps.
He's a good,
Yeah.
the Fort Camps, because they're
Fort
good,
Camps, yeah.
solid people.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I
Good from
think
start to finish.
I think that, what you guys perceived as being like, oh my God, she was badass or she was this, that's just my personality. And let me tell you, I've gone on being outspoken and being a badass isn't always the best thing. it provides a lot
Oh,
of
yeah.
angst in your life
I'm
as you go on.
sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had
Right.
to tamper that down a lot.
Right?
Or I was going to get my ass whooped. You know?
Believe me, there's a lot to be said for camouflage.
Yes, for
No.
sure. You know, and has it served me well as a teacher? Hell yeah. Like
Oh,
through
yeah.
the years, there's times in my classroom where when I've been fed up with a kid, I'll take them out in the hallway. You know, I'll have these big 8th grade boys and I'll be looking at them like, and finally they'll just be like, okay, like, stop, I'll start behaving, you know? So I still have it in me, I can pull it out.
Nice.
But getting back to high school though, I think everybody was kind of going through the same thing. I think at the end of the day, we went in our bedrooms, we'd listen to music, we were struggling with a lot of the same things.
Mm-hmm.
The same insecurities, you know, and even like the group, Tina Farwick came over. Tina Farwick is one of my best friends, and we had a discussion one time. She always calls it people that are in the pocket and people that aren't in the pocket. Okay, we might have had a little bit of weed this night. Who knows?
Right on.
But we got on this big discussion, and Tina always tells me, you can be in the pocket sometimes, but sometimes you're not in the pocket. Okay, why are some people in the pocket? Why are some people just off the bat cool where other people aren't?
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know how to explain it. I just think I went in a circle
It's
here.
like 99% attitude, too.
I think that's what it is.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, once I stopped giving a shit, it seemed so much easier.
Well, I think you got super cool, Ash, junior, senior year. You
I
started.
want to stop her right now. And just for the record, Ann said I was super cool.
Hells yeah, you were. You were comfortable in your skin.
It was these guys. I found people where I'm like, I can be as fucking weird as I want.
No shit, but that's great because that's the
it
beauty
felt
of Ash.
just so good.
That's the beauty of Arnholt, you know?
Yep.
I remember listening to you on CD 101, Tom, and I was like, man, he's badass, you know?
He's got swagger.
You do. You have swag.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What's the answer here, guys?
I don't think there is an answer. And again, the thing that we don't get a lot of young kids that listen to this. We skew older. But I think a lesson that every fucking kid in the world could gain from is you're not unique.
You're not unique.
What you're going through right now is 2,000 years old. Everybody suffers from the same things. And it gets better, you know?
And I think that's the takeaway that I hope that anybody under 30 that's listening, that kind of comes away with is,
Right?
It does get better. This
Eventually.
is as hard as it gets. That's what I used to tell my son.
Mid-40s
look,
maybe?
Today is the hardest day of your life so far.
Wow.
It just gets harder from here.
God damn.
So enjoy it.
Fucking father of the year right there.
How old's your kid, Tom?
It'll be 20 in a couple weeks.
So my daughter just turned 18. Okay, so I do have a theory
Okay.
about parents. Okay, so you know how you guys were comfortable in your skin. You never aspired to be in this group, this popular group. But you know, there's
We didn't care about the pocket. We didn't care about the pocket.
You didn't care about the
pocket. We had
pocket.
our own pocket.
Yeah.
Exactly. But there's certain people that were on the fringes of the pocket. That's not looking at the pocket people, and we're like, I want to be in that. I want to be in that. And I found that those are the parents whose kids turn out to be the assholes in the pocket. They raise their kids in that way. But if you were comfortable in who you were, your kids end up being kind of the same way. They kind of end up being comfortable.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes the bully or the assholes are the people who as in high school still wanted that, still desired that.
No, that makes
I see
sense.
that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Damn.
And I think when my daughter was getting older into that high school
That's right.
age.
How old's your daughter?
She's 20. She'll be 22 on Christmas.
Jeez.
I know. I have a 21-year-old flying around out there somewhere. But just from day one, I instilled in her, be yourself.
Be yourself.
No matter how weird you are, you'll be uncomfortable. You'll be like ostracized by somebody at some point. But the you that you are discovering and learning to be is the most important person. So just be that person. And
Be that-
I showed her my yearbook. I'm like, look at this fucking mutant. You know, he came out okay. You know, you power through, but damn it, don't change anything about yourself to please somebody else. Because that's a terrible precedent to set that can take you a lifetime to undo. But also, you're missing out on somebody that could be absolutely amazing. And like I keep going back to that terrific group of friends that we had. You know, you could completely miss those guys because you're not being you, and you'll be off each other's radar if, like you said, if you're on the fringe trying to
get in the pocket.
Trying to mold yourself to fit into the pocket.
Miserable.
All of those things about yourself that you're just tamping down and ignoring, you could be missing out on literally the best years of your life.
All right. And the other thing is be kind. Always be kind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Be kind.
Absolutely.
I don't get to how people put people in groups. This is why I don't really understand sometimes racism. I don't get it. I feel like I look at every person and everybody's interesting.
Right.
You know, I've been to some cool things in my life. I've been to like countryside wedding in Morocco. I've lived in Barcelona, and I've, been the only American in a group. I was eating grilled onions from out of a fire. And I was like, this is a badass moment. I'm the only American doing this right now. Whatever. Right. But anywhere you go, people are so interesting, and everybody's got a story. And it's the same thing. Like in high school, I feel like, everybody was kind of going through the same thing, trying to figure out their identity, because you're born with what you have. You just have to figure out how to use it. So, and it's been interesting watching my daughter go through high school. She just turned 18 today, or yesterday.
Birthday.
Sorry,
Happy birthday.
yesterday. Yeah. Happy birthday, Layla. But she goes on she's a little bit of a nerd, but she's a cool nerd.
Yeah.
She was homecoming queen, right? But she's also the girl that likes anime and comic books and
Well, good for her.
and
That's cool.
but sports have helped her too. Sports, and if your parents would have pushed you in sports, might have been an easier way for you to go.
Probably.
Did your parents push you?
Easy way's boring.
Grade school?
No, I didn't get pushed.
I did
get
in grade
pushed
school.
Everything I did, I did on my own.
You had to do it on your own.
Yeah.
I want to hear more about that.
Maybe when we're done recording.
I do. So interesting. Who signed you up for St. Andrews, Tom?
Both my parents. I mean, my parents took me, to St. Andrews with the idea of Waterston would be next. So that was them. But everything else was kind of on me. Like, I decided that I wanted to be at Boy Scouts, or that I wanted to be involved in theater or band or things like that.
So basically, they threw you out and fed you to the wolves, and you had to survive on your own.
Yeah, but I don't think it was a conscious throwing out on their part. I don't think they quite knew. Well, my parents got divorced when I was in first grade. And so it was kind of up to my mom, and she kind of had things going on. So yeah, a lot of my extracurriculars were self-driven, self-determined. So I was never really pushed into doing anything. It was stuff that I kind of gravitated towards, or wanted to learn more about, or wanted to do.
That's cool.
I don't know. It is what it is. It worked out all right.
It did work out all right.
I think my dad wanted to coach in grade school, so I had to be in the sport.
And you hated it?
Not hated it, just I could easily list a dozen other things I'd rather be doing at that time. I was on our 8th grade football team.
You were? I cannot picture that.
Yes, I will show you pictures. And
I remember that picture. I remember seeing a picture.
Passionate football equipment.
So that was 1983, and it was the fall of '83, and Rock the Casbah was on MTV every half hour. So I had my little football jersey, and I wanted Mick Jones's haircut. So I had like that thick mohawk for like a week until the rest of my hair grew out. And it was awesome. But yeah, my dad coached, so I had to play. And like fucking Fort Camps, Sean O'Reilly, John Bartok, all of these like tiny little mountains, and then me. So like the only play I knew was fucking run for your life and pray nobody catches you.
That's awesome.
But see, I mean, at least you played. I mean, at least you went out for it. I mean, I think I played soccer. I forget, like in 5th grade, maybe 4th grade, on the COSA League.
And then just said to hell with it after that.
Was it. Yeah.
Yeah,
My
for
dad
some
tried to
reason,
get me in a T-ball at one point. But
for some reason, sports are pretty stressed in high school. Like if you're a good athlete, you kind of got an easier way to go.
oh yeah,
I think it
Yep.
helps.
and that was obvious. That was a big thing.
Oh yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
Why do you think that is?
Money.
You
money,
think?
yeah. The sports brought in funding.
Yep.
And boosters.
But to the peers.
Oh, you mean
As far
to
as
the other
peer group
kids?
Yeah.
goes,
Yeah.
I think just I don't know, just the physicality of in an accolade that you're excelling in a activity that could be translated into beating somebody's ass. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yep. And I mean, if you look at it like from an anthropology point of view, I mean, they're the alpha males,
Oh, yeah,
literally,
that's true.
like
Yeah.
the bigger, stronger, faster guys.
Yeah.
Mom,
Gladiators.
why are you dusting with play?
That is beautiful.
Wouldn't you give like $100 to go back to sitting in St. Andrews, like, and you just sitting there across the table from me, saying that we're so young.
I would love to see that. Yeah. Why are you dusting with pledge?
Do you remember I was the Virgin Mary in this Christmas play?
You were in the May pageant. Yeah. The May Queen thing. Yeah.
You guys had a blue.
No, Jenny Hungler was the May Queen. I was the Virgin Mary in the Christmas play.
Wow.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I was a shepherd or some shit.
Loser.
Right?
Jeez, you're only a shepherd.
Yeah. What an actor, Tom. Wow.
That was
Yeah.
great. As the star, you are a
See why
shepherd.
that career stalled.
I don't remember a lot, but I don't think Mary was particularly the star of the
Shut
Christmas
up.
story.
Shut up, Ash. Yes, she was.
There was this other dude. I think he goes by Jesus.
Well, where'd he gestate, Ash?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's important all of a sudden.
Come on,
you know?
Ash. This is the Catholics you're talking about.
Right?
It's not about the bread, it's about the oven.
I don't see a Mount Rushmore of wombs, do you?
You two are so stupid. Oh, gosh.
Rushmore of wombs.
And the only reason I said that is because I didn't know if plural of uterus was uteruses or uteri. So I went with wombs.
Man, this conversation has gone way too intellectual. No, I'm just kidding.
The beer kicks in.
Yeah, it does. It does. But that's what's so badass about you guys. I'm really glad you invited me on your podcast.
Absolutely. From day one, I'm like, I need Maglicic in here.
I feel like I should have given you more, though. Should we get deeper about high school again? I don't know.
We can save it for another show. Like, some point I don't know, something pisses you off. You're like, oh, shit, now I remember. We'll get you back in here, and we'll just let you go.
Well, I just truly remember being, rules were some of the rules you would follow rules because rules are important, but some rules were just stupid. They made no
Some were just
sense.
stupid.
They were just
Yep.
stupid, and somebody needed to speak up about those rules.
And it was always you. You were the
It
one.
was- yeah.
Yeah.
You were the
Yeah.
voice of the resistance, Maglicic.
Yeah. Like fight the power, man. And why was I born with that? Actually, I will tell you a funny story. I guess when we were kids, we were sitting on the couch, and my dad had all four of us on the couch, and I was the youngest. And he was complaining about like number one. My dad always did number one with the thumb and number two with the index finger. And he was going over like, this is wrong in the house and this is wrong. And I guess I was sitting on the couch picking my toenails going, this is so stupid. Who cares? This is so stupid. And I was like 2 years old. I just think I came out that way,
Wow.
kicking and fighting. I don't know. So sometimes
Came out with-
sometimes we admire stuff that comes very naturally to people.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there was always sort of an effortlessness about how you could just lock horns with authority. That I was like, that's like the coolest thing ever. I can't believe it.
Oh, I know.
My God.
I respected the shit out of you for that because I wish I had the balls that you did.
I think though I got fed up because I do remember in second grade. I remember Sister Callista doing some things to me, and in second grade I felt very outraged. I got spanked on my birthday for something. And I cried the whole day.
Jesus Christ.
And I got on the bus. I remember my face was all caked, like dry from crying. And I thought, well, forget this. I'm not putting up with this shit anymore. And a couple other things happened. And I just thought, no, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not taking this shit. But I think that's been a cycle with me in my life. I'll put up with shit. And all of a sudden I'll be like, nope, I am done putting up with shit.
Done.
So I can be nice. And then I just fight.
So
I have to be pushed.
do you internalize all of that then?
Yeah.
Up
for
to that
sure.
point, okay.
Yeah.
I can. Okay,
But I
that makes
remember
sense.
going home and crying and being really like, oh, I'm bad. Like, why is this happening to me? You know? And then I think finally I would just get fed up and be like, you
Yeah,
know?
but like getting spanked by a nun on your birthday is like a villain origin story.
Well, yeah, it was kind of fucked up.
Right?
wasn't
It's
it?
very fucked up.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
Mrs. Huddy did that. Remember Mrs. Huddy?
Oh my God. She gave me a nervous tick.
I know. She was terrible. Hey, by the way, we were traumatized at St. Andrews, weren't we?
Oh, absolutely.
We had
All the time.
so much stuff happen, and people don't know. I think we
Yeah.
were abused, and I think some people react to abuse like they get quiet. But I think I finally was like, I'm speaking out to these children of St. Andrews. Like, I've had enough.
Wow.
You know?
And it's funny, like, I can't remember specifically, but there were, like, some damn near I am Spartacus type moments where it's like Anne would speak up and be like, yeah! Us too!
Yes. I think I just got fed up with the abuse. But I think, too, I'd been listening to my brothers and sisters, but we were abused. We were all out abused at St.
Jesus.
Andrews. I mean, Tom, we have stories.
Yeah, I mean, Mrs. Huddy every day was just a fucking nightmare.
It was awful.
That was second grade. Mrs. Jones I had Jones in third.
I had Jones too. And you know what I looked for today? I looked for our poem book in third grade, and because you had poems in there. And Layla, when she was looking through my scrapbook, put it somewhere. But I wanted to read a Tom Arnholt poem from third grade.
I would have loved that so
I
hard.
know, it would have been so good. I'm sure it was deep.
Oh,
I'm
I have
sure.
No doubt.
I'm sure it was so deep.
I think it kind of rhymed, maybe.
I bet you could rhyme.
I bet I could rhyme.
You need your math facts. I know that.
My math facts.
Around the world. See, look, I remember all this stuff. How to
Wow.
remember every single thing from St. Andrews. Do you remember that?
Because trauma. No. Math facts. Was that the record?
No, Matt Callahan had the record.
Okay. Oh, shit. Hang on. Was that the speed thing on the board?
Yes. No, that was
Okay.
the math facts where you went around and whoever, you had to like say the math fact as fast as you could.
Okay.
You guys don't remember shit.
Seriously, I drank and smoked most of
You
my
did
memory.
not drink and smoke in third grade,
No,
Ash.
but those memories are gone now thanks to teenage, early 20s, Mike.
Yeah.
The grasp on that was kind of iffy to begin with. So as all the drugs came in, those were the first things to go. I barely remember grade school.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember a lot.
Yeah. I don't remember math facts, but I remember
Everything else but that, right?
I remember the poem book. So I was like, wow, this is laminated and everything.
It was laminated and it was light blue and I can
Yeah.
picture it. Do you still have it? I searched
It
today, by the way,
might
for
be
a
in my-
good
it might-
hour in my basement because I wanted to just pop something out like good.
That would have been
But I came
awesome.
up with the, Mom, why are you dusting with pledge?
That's just as good. I do want to hear some Arnold poetry, so if it turns up,
I know.
you'll have to come back.
I'm sure it's just genius.
Oh, it has
I bet.
to be.
I
It
bet.
has to be. I know my next tattoo is just
Oh, yeah.
lyrics from Tom all down my
Right.
body.
Yeah, you guys were pretty smart dudes.
Like the Illustrated Man, but with Arnholt lyrics.
But
Yeah.
even
Like Books of
smart,
Blood.
even smartness, like, okay, this is I'm going to give a shout out to a friend. So in 8th grade, in elementary school at St. Andrews, they actually developed a class that was the smart class and the dumb class. And it took us like a few months to figure it out, but we all figured it out. And I don't want to say my friend who still remembers it, but was absolutely scarred from it. She's a St. Andrews girl because she was in the dumb class, right? And I was in the smart class, but I don't think I should have been in the smart class. I think I was just in there by like family name. But Tom was in the smart class, okay?
Huh.
Yeah. And this person, okay, so you always think about adversity. How does it affect you? Because this could have destroyed this person. And she'll know who she is when she hears this. I don't want to say her name, okay? But she has gone on. She's running her own corporation. She's amazing. Like she's done very well for herself. And she still talks about how in 8th grade she was in the dumb class. So does adversity, some people fold with adversity. Some people get adversity and run with it like it's a
Right.
challenge. And I think maybe that could have been the best thing that ever happened to her.
Could be.
Not at the time, though. I think
No,
it was
absolutely
hard.
not.
But yeah, we figured that out quick. It's not good. Kids are smart. They figure that stuff
Right.
out.
Yeah,
They know
like,
when they're in the dumb
remember
class.
this.
we're going to
Yeah.
number the basketball groups. It doesn't mean you're a starter or non-starter. You're just on team D. You know?
Actually, I don't even know what
Why
you're
don't I
talking
remember
about.
this?
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
You don't remember? We had a smart class and a dumb class. You were in the smart class.
How did that happen?
I don't know. I think they were doing like an experiment.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
I must
We need a control group.
Hey, do you think this podcast is boring? Do you think this was a
Pardon me?
boring one?
This
Do you think we're entertaining?
I think we're funny as hell. Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
And actually, yeah, you've brought up a lot of good points that I hadn't thought about that I'm going to have to ponder on.
Like
Especially
what?
The abuse as we're kids in grade school. Yes.
I don't know. St. Andrews had an especially special breed. I don't think the other feeder schools had
Well,
that.
and I think when we were in 1st or 2nd grade, it was right at the end of the corporal punishment. And so the nuns knew they were going to live for another 120 years. So they had to take it all out on us.
Yeah. St. Andrews didn't get that memo.
No, they didn't, because Rockwell went through it too.
Me too.
We all did.
Yeah. We all met the
My
paddle.
brother got it.
Well into the 8th grade.
But I was a
No
girl
shit.
that-
You
I
guys
was
got
a
paddled
girl.
all the way through?
Yes.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out.
But that didn't happen
yeah.
to girls that much. I was a girl that got,
Right.
yeah. I never actually got paddled, but I got in a lot of trouble. I got spanked several times.
Yeah.
Damn.
I know. We
Yeah,
should do a
like-
whole episode on that.
Yeah, let's.
Huddy with those talons, she could just grab you right here and just dig.
Oh, God. It was scary going into school.
That sounds awful.
I know.
Jesus Christ.
It was crazy.
It was crazy. And we all.
And fucking Alaboni would just go off on whatever and
Do you
just
remember he'd put kids in the trash
make
can?
you stand in the trash can.
What the fuck?
And then one time, and then different
trash.
times-
Go stand in the trash
Do you
can.
remember when he made you rip up paper and throw it on the floor, and he made the kid crawl around on the floor and pick it up?
Jesus
And you-
Christ.
Zettler
he'd
did that.
say-
I thought Ed
Zettler
did
went
that.
after Rob Hollerbach and beat him up. Remember, he
Yeah.
came back in. His
Threw him
face
up.
was scratched and his
What
shirt
the
was torn
hell?
up. I know we had it,
Yeah.
but we never talked about it. We never went home and talked about this stuff.
Yeah, you bottled it up, and as an adult,
Well, you just move on.
it fucks you up.
Does
Yeah,
it?
it's like, well, hey, I lived.
No, you don't just live. That shit sits in you.
but why didn't we talk about
I
it?
didn't die.
We didn't
Look at tomorrow.
die. Why didn't we talk about it? We laugh about it now. But we went
We
through
laugh about
that,
it
Tom. And then did you notice maybe that's why we weren't that close at St. Andrews? Maybe we were all children of trauma.
Wow, I never thought about
Because
that.
do you have
That it-
super close grade school friends?
Dan Rockwell, I'm still not well. I wouldn't say that Dan and I are still close. Dan and I were close through most of high school. I'm close with a couple with George Levis, who was a year ahead of us. Mm-hmm. But from our class,
Think about that.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
I'm still friends with Missy Profiter and maybe Jennifer Porter, Jenny Hungler, but I didn't become friends with them until adulthood. Missy all throughout.
Yeah.
So did you
So I think
actively avoid people that you went through this with just because it reminded you of when you
I
were a
don't
kid?
know, but we should do a podcast on this.
And we
It could
fucking
be like
are.
Seriously, Tom, we're
completely
on to something.
It could totally be like a subconscious thing. It's like,
That's
wait,
what
no.
I'm wondering. Like, did you guys avoid each other because it brought back that shit? And as Tom and I have pointed out before in our other podcast, talking about child abuse is hilarious and doesn't lead to any issues.
Oh my God.
When did I point that out?
Okay, so we had an idea. Like our other podcast, Tom goes to the
guys are ridiculous.
AP Newswire and just pulls out like stories about people being stupid, and we make fun of them, right? So we had this idea over the summer, like let's find the worst parents in America, and we'll
God.
mock them. And we're like, yeah. So he comes back, and all of it is child abuse. We're like,
It's
this
just
isn't
horrible.
funny at all. And
It's like, what the hell were we thinking? It was awful. It was like, yeah, worst decision ever. Oh my God.
we tried.
It was painful. Like, no, I can't.
Holy
can't.
shit.
I know.
Yeah, but we
But
thought
I
it was
do-
going to be hilarious. And like, oh yeah, they kept a kid in a cage.
There was
No.
there was no cage kids.
Yeah, there was. There was a kid in the cage in the trailer, and he was in there with like a boa constrictor. Remember that?
I think I blocked it
poor
out of my
baby.
memory.
You
I
blocked
remember
it
the
out.
mom
But
that,
okay,
like,
to circle back though, I think you guys are onto something. Maybe that transition from St. Andrew to Watterson, you like intentionally stayed away from other people because it reminded you of that shit that you went through.
We just never talked about it.
But you were what, like 12 or 13?
We just sort of
Nobody
would pass
talks
each
about-
other in the hallways and be like, hey, Arnold, what's up? And we had
yeah.
this like
it was just kind of
common-
nice to see a familiar face.
a familiar face, but none of us really hung out. None of those guys from elementary school did I hang out with or become close with. And I always wondered that.
yeah.
You might be onto something. So
Yeah, I just assumed it was the natural progression of, we're in a bigger, we were big fish in a small pond. Now we're in a bigger pond.
Right.
We've got,
Well, maybe
you know,
we just didn't
the
have
ability
that
to have a
tight.
diverse. What?
Well, maybe we just didn't have that tight of a class either, but I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. These are all interesting points that you're bringing up, though. Did any of like the little groups of friends from your middle school transfer directly over to high school, like the jocks or anything like that?
Well, Missy Profiter and I stayed really tight.
I think those that were in sports,
Sports.
just by nature, transferred over. I mean,
Okay.
like Shoemaker and
Durant,
Callahan.
Callahan, Mulligan,
so
Dixon.
counterpoint, did those guys get like bullied by the teachers in school? Did they get paddled and spanked and have their hair pulled by teachers?
No,
No.
not that I recall. Interesting.
Interesting.
Conspiracy.
I know.
Right?
I know.
So like half your class was physically abused by the teachers.
No, I wouldn't say half.
25%.
But why did they pick the people that they did pick to bully?
Yeah.
And I knew for me, I knew if they called home, Matt and I, because I remember walking down the hall one time and my brother getting hit by the principal, by Miss Weisner. And him and I looked at each other and I was like, I'm not going to say anything, Mom and Dad. You know.
Right.
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
But she slapped him hard across the face.
Oh my God.
And we just went
I
about
remember
our,
hearing about that.
we just went about our life.
That's so
Yeah.
fucked up, but you shouldn't have to.
That's what kids do.
But they don't. If you don't know any different, if you don't know any better,
That's what I mean. Yeah,
Yeah.
that shouldn't be normal for anybody.
But then it makes you understand abuse. Makes you understand how kids are going through it now.
right?
You know?
God damn.
I know. It does make you better adults when you go through that, though. Don't you think?
Yeah.
Makes me a
Yeah.
better teacher. Because people always assume, like in Columbus City, like, oh, she grew up in Arlington. She had a charmed life. And I'm thinking, but we kind of didn't. We did. We had a lot of perks, but we also went through a lot of, St. Andrews, if I told stories of really what happened, like the stuff that happened in 8th grade geometry with Alaboni and
fucking
it was
Alaboni.
it was crazy. I remember him looking at me and saying, Maglicic, you is so stupid. He would say
Jesus Christ,
that
he
to
said
me on a
that to you
daily
out-
basis.
Oh my God.
Well, I remember Dan. I think Dan brought it up too, and him with the whole fucking polyhedron bullshit. Which, like, what are we learning here? Origami. Fuck that. But like, he sat there and he just destroyed Rockwell's like polyhedrons that you slave over, and he just tore them up
Jesus
right
Christ.
in front of him. And it was like, I remember sitting there
Dan
in my
Rockwell
seat.
had it bad. I do
Oh,
remember. I do remember
had a
that.
target.
And I remember sitting there outraged, like
Yeah.
I'm about to bust. Like I can't.
You and I
I
both.
can't handle this.
Wow.
Had you gone, I'd have gone because I was so just fighting it. I was
I was a
sitting there
little
like,
bit
oh
scared
my
of
God.
alimony, though. I gotta say.
Wow.
Because he called me stupid on a daily basis, but I think that was to keep me down. But yeah, I was about to bust. I'd sit, and I do remember one time Zettler pulling kids up in front of the room. I heard about it at lunchtime. I heard he did this. He pulled two kids up, and he's like, "Who's more popular, this person or this person?" And he had the class vote.
What?
Yes.
Yeah.
What the
Yeah.
This is some
fuck is
fucked
going
up
on here?
individuals. And so
Jesus Christ.
I was like real outraged. I thought about it all during lunch, and I was like, he is not doing that. No. So we got sat down. That's when I raged. I was like, you are not doing this. You will not do this. You will not put through my classmates through this. Like, I was mad. I still get mad at stuff like that. I
As you
get
should. Yeah,
outraged.
absolutely.
But that stuff didn't happen at Watterson much.
Not to that degree.
Watterson was stupid and petty, but it wasn't that vindictive stuff that happened at St. Andrews.
No.
So Watterson, you
No.
could fight the power. I was scared sometimes at St. Andrews to fight the power.
I can understand why. I mean, that's literal emotional abuse that you guys were
I
put
think
through.
at Watterson, the staff and faculty and
Petty.
there was more accountability. There were more eyes
Yeah.
Yeah.
on what was going on.
Yeah, that makes
Whereas
sense.
St. Andrews, you were in the bubble, man.
You were in a bubble, man, and we all just kind of we would put our heads down and just keep on.
Yeah,
Jesus.
it was just a fire drill every day.
Yeah.
Tornado
Damn.
drill. Out in the
For all
hallway,
those people
head
listening out
down.
at St. Andrews, I love y'all.
Yeah, this has turned into just a great, fun little look back at our lives. And
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Well, it's a good lesson, and I'm sure, like, it's just a good time for people that what seems like charmed lives, what seems like kids living in the suburbs having great lives, or it's not always what it appears to be.
That's very true. Absolutely.
And I think I developed my tough skin at St. Andrews.
That sounds like it.
Until I went out to Columbus
Yeah.
City, and then I got my ass whooped until I didn't. I learned
And
quick.
then you learned what tough skin looked like.
Right, that's right.
That's the one thing too. I have to say, just being in the inner city, the one thing that I've learned is kids can take. So you know how you have that thing about you that is your most insecure thing. They can pick up on that. Come on in. Oh, that's the dogs.
There's the dogs.
There's the 18-year-old coming home from work. Kids can pick up on your insecurities, and you'll be like going back and forth with the kid, and they can hit you below the belt so hard.
Really?
But that is a skill. That is a skill of survival that they can zero
Oh,
in.
yeah, absolutely.
But I don't know. Can you guys? We don't have that skill. We didn't have to bring that out.
You learn to read people, and and again, like, that's always the last bullet. I always tried to be the funny guy. Like, if I get somebody laughing, I won't get picked on. I can just like da off stage and walk away and not get picked on. But yeah, you learn to read people pretty quick. Like, you can tell their mood and stuff. But yeah, you pick out weaknesses. Like, keep going, dude. I'll try and make you laugh. I'll be weird, but then I'm fucking pointing out your prehensile tail to all your jock friends. And that shit will come out, but you don't have to. But like you said, if they're pulling that out like day one, like, hey, bitch has thumbs for pinky toes, blah, 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 blah. They're just trying to hurt you.
It's a gift, man. But, man, there's times I'll be in the hallway and a kid will say something to me. And you'll just go like, oh, God, they picked that up. Damn. Right. So you learn to, put the Teflon on.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because they'll smell it.
They'll
smell it. They got the X-ray vision. They can smell that inside.
Yep.
Yeah, and
it's a good quality to have. I don't know, good. Yeah. It's a survival.
It's a power that can be wielded for good or evil.
Yeah,
exactly.
that as an educator, Ann, it's your job to cultivate them to use it for good.
For good,
absolutely.
I always tell kids on a regular basis, "Wow, couldn't you just use that skill to do something good in the world?"
How do we turn that to benefit?
Nobody's
mankind?
really trying to hurt you here. It's just, what can we do,
right,
to turn that? Yeah, because it is a skill. It's an intelligence.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it's beyond cerebral.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the true marriage of intellectual and emotional intelligence based on a survival instinct.
Yes,
absolutely.
That is,
and again, that's crazy that those kids are just that's the first card they play.
It might not be the first card they play, but it's gonna be there. The kid that's gonna say that to you.
God damn.
Those kids put me. If we were to go head to head in high school, they would have destroyed me.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, they're smart, intelligent. They're unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyway.
Right on. Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm glad they got you.
Oh, well.
Looking out for them. They're luckier than they know, I'm sure.
I've got 30 years in the Columbus City school system.
Damn, man. You're looking at retirement soon, aren't you?
Soon, yeah. But those kids inspire me. They inspire me. In a lot of my former students have gone on to be extremely successul. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What's weird too now is I'm back over on the east side, and I'm starting to get the dog is bugging Yesh. I'm back over on the east side, and I'm starting to get students. My former students, their kids.
Oh wow!
Yeah, that's pretty
cool.
funny. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Is it cool? Is it bittersweet? Is it like, oh my god, I'm ancient?
It's pretty cool.
It's got to be cool.
Neat.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not just me. Her dog is like shoving his nose in my armpit.
Yeah.
And
she has no social skills.
I half like it.
She's lovely. She's got social skills. Bad social skills.
I half like it.
Yeah.
Like, this should be gross, but it's not.
Hey, this podcast went way off. We didn't talk about high school too much, did we?
Okay, so when you have nobody steering the train, it's easy to get derailed, So we freeform. I consider this podcast like jazz.
Oh, yeah, freeforming.
We start somewhere, and we just run till the batteries die.
Sometimes we get lost in the middle eight, end up someplace else.
So it doesn't matter. I
did have a fun evening with you two, though.
The whole deal with this is it's ours. It's yours. It's for us, by us. We're not looking to unseat Joe Rogan for the #1 podcast in America. This is really just for our niche audience and anybody, friends and family, as it were.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
I'd like to thank my mom and dad. Just kidding.
Me too. Thanks, Mr. and Mrs. Maglicic. You done good with this one.
Yeah.
Woo. Yeah. Oh, and my sisters. I don't think I mentioned them.
The views and opinions expressed on this show are not necessarily those of Bum's Corner Coast to Coast. I just like to throw that in there.
Random disclaimer.
Yeah. No, this was fun, man.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Had a good time.
Yeah, and we will have to do it again. I'd love to stay away from the child abuse portions of it, though.
I know. How'd we get on that? That was my fault.
But I don't know. We keep straying in that field over and over again. Maybe that's something we have to look at on our own and circle back. But geez.
Well, hey, I got something to say about it. The kids of our generation, we kind of did deal with a lot, and we don't talk about it.
Oh yeah.
We don't. We just moved on.
We just took it and
We took it and we just kind of learned from it. And we didn't have, I don't know. What is our generation going to be known for? So far, I don't feel like we've done a lot of.
If you were to, if you take what little they write about it,
Right.
I mean, we're still kind of the overlooked generation. We were ignored as children. We're ignored as adults.
So, okay, funny story. So, started dating this girl, and like the guy that she was sort of dating before, she's like, yeah, I got a few weeks in and realized that this guy was looking more for a mother than a girlfriend. And I said, all right, first off, I'm Gen X and I went to Catholic schools. The last fucking thing I want is an authority figure because I hate every one of them that exist. So yeah, honestly, I think our generation will be known for people like Anne that said, you know what? No, fuck that. That's wrong. There's got to be a better way of doing that.
Because did we just all kind of acquiesce?
I don't think
I don't know if we acquiesced as much as we just sort of, and then we moved on. We didn't necessarily put up with it.
We shook the tree, but then if you look at broad brushstrokes of our entire generation, then we got like super white, super rich, and just turned into the generation before us too. Like once you get comfortable, like, you know what? Apartheid's not that bad.
Did we really get like that?
No, we don't.
As a generation, though, probably, most white guys in their 50s are fucking villains, if you think about it. We're a pretty vile group of people.
I think because, we had, I think we thought it was all figured out.
Yeah.
So we just put it on autopilot. Like, all right, that's good. Hey, no, we did the USA for Africa. We got the Live Aids going on.
Yeah, Live Aid was like the big thing.
We're all good.
Yep.
Fucking Benetton. We're all one big happy family.
Benetton ads. Those are cool.
Fucking United Colors. It's all
great.
It's all good.
Yep.
And
then we
we
took our eye off the ball for a second, and then it went tits up on us.
2010, and all of a sudden, it's all shit. You're like, what the hell happened?
Right?
I thought this was figured.
Oh my God.
I thought we solved all this.
Oh, well. And again, it's just like parenting. As long as you do slightly better than the generation before you, you're kind of doing your part,
But have we? I don't know. But you know what? The John, who does Breakfast Club and 16 Candles and John Hughes. John Hughes put in all of his films how our generation was like, we were the result of selfish parenting. Now, do I think my particular parents were selfish? Not necessarily. No, I don't. But, if you think about it, every week in high school, somebody's parents were out of town. They were like jetting off to like the Bahamas or whatever. Mm-hmm. And we were kind of, like I said, like you said, we were ignored. Mm-hmm. We were kind of on our own.
Well, we first generation of latchkey kids.
We were feral.
We were raised by TV.
Yes.
Yep.
And you had different elements of it. Some families were a little bit more, into their kids, but like really.
Yeah, but when you look at the
broad spectrum,
the whole spectrum, we were left alone a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we raised ourselves basically. Yep.
Yeah. And to your point, Anna, I really don't know what we've done with that to benefit the greater good.
I know.
Except, raise Gen Z to be kind of the same way.
Yeah.
Slightly better.
If the fire gets any bigger, maybe I'll call somebody.
Right?
But till then, get the marshmallows.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Hey, man, the Cold War's over. Thank you.
We did it. We got the Cold War over.
Yeah. I mean, God damn it, like we get political at the end of every one of these things, but if you look at like the way the world was in 1991, 92, it's a hair better than that. Now, okay, this is a shitty week to say that because, like, again, Russia is trying to get big again and march all over the Ukraine, but the nuclear clock's not where it was when we were growing up. We're not on the brink of World War again. There's one Germany now, so we're a hair better.
The hotspot just changed. Mm-hmm. It's like that red storm on fucking, was it Jupiter?
Jupiter, yeah, I do know that. Yeah.
Just the big red
was
storm.
It Mars? It was Mars. It was Mars.
It went from Russia back over here to the Middle East, and it's going to hang there for a minute. And as soon as Russia and China get done making their deal, it's going to go back up there, and hopefully, at the very least, we'll have a Cold War again.
Oh, that's going to be awesome.
Otherwise, yeah.
Our generation really does it. And as time has gone on, I've lost a lot of my, like, badass, like, I'm going to stand up because I found it's just easier to, like, this person is being an asshole. I'll just, like, avoid them.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. I think my kid kind of inspires me because he's very much like a Gen X. He was raised by a Gen X parents. But he's very good at pointing out shit that we would have just been like, yeah, that's fucked up. Ooh, beer.
Right.
I think him and his generation in general, not necessarily, he's not an activist or anything stretch, for that, but I mean, he's at least aware of things. And I think we were too at that age, but like, we all lined up and did Hands Across America, and cool, well, that's homelessness sorted. It's like we did our part.
I loved Hands Across America. But
ridiculous. Everybody went and bought the album, so that's hunger in Africa fixed.
Right.
We're all good.
Yeah.
Check that off the list.
And I think the Gen Zs they've got a little more staying power. They're going to kind of maybe pay attention to whether or not it actually gets fixed, or not fixed, at least,
They seem to be going out that way. They
Right.
seem like they want to do a little bit more, but
they're a little more engaged.
Yeah, they're a little bit more engaged, but also I have found as life goes on, a lot of those big, activist moments, a lot of that is very, overrated. Sometimes just one relationship at a time is how you get there.
That's
So the day-to-day stuff, the little things that you do, that relationship you build with the younger generation, the hope you inspire in them, that's what drives me as an educator. So I always think about, and I tell the kids this a lot. They'll say, like, why are we doing this again? Why are you working so hard? And I'm like, because one day you're going to be in charge of me. I'm going to be old, and I don't want to send any, like, stupid-ass people out in the world. You need to learn this so that you can, like, take care of my generation.
Right.
But a lot of stuff goes on. The big moments are overrated. A lot of times just the little day-to-day stuff that, just like at my school, we had a spelling bee, and 4 kids won the spelling bee. And like that's the stuff that inspires me, because you don't know, like, those 4 kids between 6th grade and 8th grade will go on, and all of a sudden somebody told them, you are a good speller. You
Right.
are smart. Yep. That's the stuff that gets me going, because that's the little stuff. Sometimes we look for such broad, like sweeping, like activism.
Grand.
Right.
Yes. And a lot of times it's just not that. A lot of times it's just the little things that you do to get that next generation going. Mm-hmm. And that's what drives me as a teacher. I get really mad too when teachers blow off, or other people blow off, younger generations, because they deserve it just as much as we did.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So how you spend 30 years as an educator and not get burnt out is what drives me, is just like the hope that these kids and what they deserve. Because amongst that group every day of students that you have, there's pearls. There could be kids that are going on to do win the Nobel Peace Prize. You don't know. There are these little just nuggets of brilliance every day in your school day.
That's neat.
It's pretty cool.
It's nothing but potential. I mean, just raw, unfettered potential.
And I don't understand how you go into teachers' classrooms. I'm actually an instructional coach. I'm not a teacher anymore. But how you go into people's classrooms and they'll be watching a movie or just hanging out. The kids will all be on their phones. And I'm like, how do you not use every single second of this class period? Teach them a vocabulary word. Teach them about, teach them about what apartheid was in Africa.
Right.
Or, teach them about the Mayan civilization. Like every single second of the day should be inspiring these kids to learn. Oh my gosh, I just went off on a tangent, but that's what drives me as an educator. And so maybe we aren't that complacent as a generation.
And I don't think we are. I think you're right.
We just do our things a little bit more subtly because that's how we were raised.
Yeah. And I think you being in a position as an educator are going to be judged a little bit differently, but I think X in general, we're going to be judged by the actions and deeds of the Z's that we raised. Mm-hmm. I don't think X's are really, aside from the Elon Musk types that are going to space and doing what they do. There's a the 1% of our generation that are actually doing things that are noteworthy. But I think for the rest of us that are just kind of doing our thing, we're going to be judged as a generation by the actions and deeds of our progeny.
Right, because we are not raising assholes. We are not.
Nope.
Our kids are the bomb.
Absolutely.
We know that.
Yeah.
Yep. We did one thing right.
We'll see.
Remains to be determined.
Right?
Yeah. All right.
So the driveway to hose us off once a month.
Before the batteries die on all this hardware, we should probably start steering it towards an exit strategy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I called out Sherry Farrell tonight. I don't know why she came to mind. I have no idea.
Honestly, I know nothing about her.
Well, I know, and that's, I think, why she'd be interesting.
Yeah, I agree.
And she was, Sherry, you were the hot girl in high school. You were like every guy's dream. But there was more to you than that.
Or was there? That's why it's interesting.
I think there is more to her.
Let's crack her skull open and see what's going on.
I think you should bring her in.
Yeah, all right.
She has a story.
No one's going to come on the podcast if you keep saying we're going to crack skulls open.
It's just a figure of speech, I swear to God.
Yeah, but not everybody knows that.
I know it.
Okay, so
I haven't seen Esselman in 20 years. He's going to hit me in the head.
My tagline used to be, I think she'd make a great skin suit. So I'm getting there. Incrementally,
God,
I'm getting
Ash,
there.
what the fuck? Oh, shit.
Baby steps.
Puts the lotion on the skin.
Oh, God. That was the only movie that scared me.
But this has been an absolute blast.
Yeah, it's been fun.
We have to do it again sometime.
All right, so our exit strategy is let's say our favorite memory of the person. Mine's, Mom, why are you dusting with Pledge? And the bombs going off in grade school, you rolling around on the floor, throwing a grenade.
That's right.
And then strategically getting back to your seat right before the teacher came in, and I'd be like, damn, that's badass.
I do recall, we'd be there, all sweaty and disheveled, acting nothing happened.
I was like, that's an art form. Yeah.
God, my favorite Arnold memory, he was asleep for, but it was the night before some Easter in the mid 2000s. And his mom called every 15 minutes to George's house to wake him up to go get the rolls at this one particular restaurant. And I was laying in the living room, right by the answering machine, and Tom was off in a bedroom sleeping. And so I listened to his mom all morning, and it started so sweet. It's like, Tommy, I know you're probably asleep, but the restaurant's going to close in 3 hours, and we really need those rolls. And by the end of
It's going to open in 3 hours.
So by the end of it, she would I'd hear the beep. She's like, God damn it, Tom, I know you're there. Go get the fucking rolls. And it was so awesome. I couldn't move either. And I probably should have gone to get him. It was like, hey, Tom, your mom's been calling all day, but I loved listening to the slow progression of this nice, sweet lady looking for her son first thing in the morning to, if I find you, I'm going to fucking murder you because the rolls were cold or something like that.
Right. You murdered baby Jesus. Boy. Let's see. With Anne, I can't think of one specific thing. Just you standing up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, predominantly in grade school. I don't think we had any classes together in high school.
Mm-mm.
Really? You guys made it all 4 years with no classes together. I'll be damned.
Just you had a power about you that was just very cool, and I just remember just being sort of oftentimes in awe of you.
Actually, I'm going to think about that for a long time.
It was
pretty cool.
I had mad respect for you.
Thank you, guys. That means a lot to me.
Absolutely.
That means a lot.
Yep. So we'll dig up some more people to do this, and again, I appreciate your time, and we'll definitely have to do it again because nothing says love and camaraderie like emotional and physical child abuse. So we'll have to
let's dig that shit up.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, it's just funny that it happened in Upper Arlington too. A lot of people think kids in Upper Arlington have charmed lives, but we.
Yep.
So you just
insulated.
Right. You just never know what somebody has gone through.
Man, what a teaser!
You can't always see it.
Perfect.
People have.
I can't wait. Yeah. Our producer, Peggy Burke, is going to reach out to you.
Peggy.
And schedule something.
Hi, Peggy.
I'm just kidding. She would never produce this on a dare. But again, man, this has been awesome.
Yeah.
And I cannot say
this,
thank
guys.
you enough.
And it's great seeing you.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah.
It's been too many years.
Why don't you come to a reunion once in a while and hang out with us sometime?
The reunions are kind of lame. Yeah. I don't know.
When's the next one?
I don't know.
23.
Oh, yeah, that's coming up pretty soon.
Yep.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Well, now that I'm on the same continent as everybody else, that's a little more doable.
All right.
And I got to give kudos to my Arlington people. Arlington was a great high school, too. I've made a lot of friends there in a year and a half. So, they're going through the same shit, too.
Perfect.
All right. All right, guys.
So until we do this again, like a month or two from now, I guess we will all bid you adieu.
Ciao.
Ciao.